So I just had 5 days with the DJI RS4 Mini, and while my thoughts are fresh, I thought I'd get a video out. However, I had to give it back earlier before I thought I had to, and so I just quickly filmed some stuff with the Pocket 3, which is what you're watching now, with a black mist filter on it. And all I could do is just put some bullet points together. So I'm gonna have to look at the screen. This is not a scripted video, but I just want to put this out since I had some past with the RS3 Mini. It actually makes sense for me to address the successor to this. And yeah, so I made a whole video. I'll post it in this corner and somewhere in the description, maybe at the end. You get to click through about the RS3 Mini and how it was problematic, both in terms of software and compatibility with my old camera, which was a Fujifilm X-H2S, which is still an issue. Nobody fixed it. Nobody's gonna fix it, probably. If you're really interested, watch the video. And also in terms of the motors, one of the motors gave away and I had to send it away. DJI fixed it within 3 days and sent me a brand new unit, which I then sold as new, which is really good. But now I don't have a gimbal. I keep borrowing or renting one, and thankfully my favorite retailer, I just want to shout them out, Photo Plus in Budapest. If you ever have any needs for photography, video, or just advice, and you're here, just pop in. They're my favorites and they help me a lot. So just want to give them a shout out for lending me their DJI issued display unit for 5 days, and I really enjoyed it. So let's go for it. I don't want to take too much, but I think it's just important to address and give you a no bullshit review after using it full on for 5 days straight. Okay, cool. So I'm a run and gun videographer. At this point, I work for a documentary about our Olympic champions. I run and gun. In the next 3 days, I'm going to be flying to 2 different countries and filming people there during their training. And so I don't need a big professional gimbal. I just need something that can take my Sony A1 and the 24-70 2.8, maybe with some mics or whatever it is. And we'll get to whether that's really the right fit for it or not. But that's basically the concept. It has to connect to it wirelessly, which obviously if you are aware of the Fujifilm issue, they no longer connect even through the wire, and you can't control your camera. So that's frustrating because you have to continuously press buttons and touch the screen. Whereas if you have a Sony now, I experienced it, you just get better compatibility. So that's the concept. I just need a gimbal. If you're in that situation where you're run and gun, you do weddings, events, concerts, whatever, you're going to probably be looking at this. And so when I came across the announcement for the RS4 Mini, obviously I was immediately interested, right? There's many, many good things, and there's 1 or 2 things that still concern me. So let's get through it. The design of it, it's great. I really actually like the new color. It's strange because we're all used to using black gimbals. But actually that new color is very refreshing, very beautiful material as well. No complaints whatsoever over there. The auto lock feature, I've never had one before. I use a Ronin S that I borrow from a friend of mine, which is humongous and has no lock whatsoever. So having automatic locks whenever you press the sleep button is phenomenal. I can't tell you how good that is, so don't underestimate it. It's also got Teflon coating, so actually making adjustments is easier, which on the RS3 Mini was a pain in the ass, especially the roll axis. That one's really, really difficult to adjust. So Teflon coating is a huge step, as well as the fine-tuning knob. Okay, that fine-tuning knob that you see, it just allows you to make micro adjustments on the go. If you swap lenses or if something just goes a little bit to the south, then you can quickly adjust it and get back to shooting within seconds. Briefcase handle, I got the creator, not the creator combo, just the combo. The creator combo is the one that comes with the phone holder. That's the only difference. It's a $19 phone holder. I don't have a need for it, so if you need that, just get that version of it. But the briefcase handle is very nice. I had the exact same type of briefcase handle for my RS3 Mini, but I had to buy it separately, so it's nice that it's now included. And it's got like a NATO port where you attach it, and on the other end you've got like a tripod mount and I think, yeah, also a cold shoe mount as well, so you can attach 2 or 3 accessories. It's worth noting that the NATO clamp doesn't have any sort of a digital connection, so you can't actually attach anything to the side of it like the bigger variants, like the RS4 and RS4 Pro. So just remember that as well when you're considering it. The new tracking module was definitely a highlight of their announcement, and I was skeptical about it, as well as also a lot of the YouTubers either didn't know or didn't feel like highlighting one important aspect, so I was very eager to find out whether you can actually track a subject without doing the hand gestures. And yes, you can. You just press the trigger once and it locks onto whoever is in front of the sensor, as well as you can switch off the ring light. That was mentioned by a lot of people, which is great because then you can discreetly keep track of your subject without having a red or a green light flashing at them every now and then. You also have two options. You have either keeping the subject centered or keeping the current framing. So if you put them in the rule of thirds, you can keep them at that level as well, and the gimbal will adjust. However, very important to highlight is that the tracking module, I think, has a 24 millimeter focal length equivalent. So if you're filming something at 50 or 70 mil or even further down, obviously as you pan around, your subject will move out of the frame and the gimbal will not necessarily react because it's looking at your subject at a 24 millimeter distance. Maybe in the future they can address that. At this point, there's no way to actually see what the camera is seeing. It's just simply a unit, doesn't even have its own power supply. It pulls power directly from a magnetic port that's designed specifically for the RS4 Mini. However, this is also something that a lot of people didn't mention. You can buy an adapter, so you can use it with the RS4 and the RS4 Pro. It's a separate purchase, but you can buy and attach them to the RSS port on those bigger variants. So if you want to try this tracking module, which I think is like $60 or so, you can actually buy it and buy an extra adapter for it, $20, $30. Then you can have a tracking module that you can use to film yourself, similarly to the Pocket 3, which is basically the same technology built in. The tracking module also has a USB-C port on the back and a small LED on the back as well, so you know without having to look at the front whether it's tracking someone or not. As well as for USB-C, the benefit is it gives you the ability to install firmware updates, which I have already done because there was already an update rolled out for it. Minor improvements, but it's also good because it's future-proof. Battery life also received a pretty big improvement, over 30%. I think it's 3,100 milliamp hours, and they gave it fast charging. Now, fast charging, I'm skeptical about. It's still 1.5 hours to charge a gimbal, and despite the bigger capacity, and despite the fact that I'm not running around with a heavier setup, I mean, after 3 or 4 hours, I was already down like to 40%. And then you plug it in, you have to charge for probably around an hour at that point, even though it says fast charging on the screen. So it is what it is. I'd like to see that improved in the future, but so far it's a step in the right direction. To improve the horizontal to vertical switch, they put now a 2-plate setup on the RS4 Mini, and the longer plate, which could come in handy, is actually not Arca Swiss. However, what your camera is sitting on is pretty much the same module as you had in the previous RS3 Mini. So that is easy to detach and then put onto a tripod, but it would be great if the longer piece was also actually an Arca Swiss compatible mount. So, okay, not the worst thing, but just keep that in mind. As mentioned before, since I use a Sony camera now, I had no issues with the connection whatsoever. I didn't even feel like connecting it with a cable because the Bluetooth connection, and the good thing is it can connect to your camera as well as your smartphone. So if you want to adjust more things on your phone, connect it to your gimbal, then you can connect two things at the same time. And it actually shows you immediately within a few seconds both of those connections. Very snappy, very, very good. DJI is now at the forefront of innovation when it comes to having these wireless connections. One thing to also keep in mind is that it can also take photos for you. So not only can it reacquire focus and start and stop a video recording, it can take photos, as well as in photo mode and video mode, you can now use the M button, which is the mode button, to trigger whatever is set to C1, your custom button. So you can use that for switching focus zones or focus modes, or trigger some other function that you can set to the many custom buttons that you have on your Sony camera. The RS4 Mini now also has two side switches, one for switching between moving your actual gimbal manually using the joystick, and the other one if you have digital or optical zoom set up, then you can actually zoom in and out using that joystick. There's a simple switch on the left. On the right hand side you can switch between pan, tilt, follow, pan, follow, or FPV mode, which also includes the new 360 roll function as well. So both of those are physical, very quick to change, and then I was also wondering, so what about the mode button, which so far in the RS3 Mini did exactly that, switching between the different modes. That's now actually used for sport mode, So you have a sort of very, very responsive, very snappy sport mode, and it's also still a shortcut if you use the trigger and the mode button together for 3 seconds to go into auto calibration. Two things I'd like to sort of see improved. One of them is the joystick is still too fast unless you actually go into custom settings. The slow, medium, and fast are not that vastly different, so I don't really enjoy it. I still prefer to use custom on the joystick speeds and sensitivity, but that's not a big issue. The other thing that I wanted to mention is deadband. Deadband is a setting that you actually do on your phone still. You still don't have a simple drop-down menu or a simple slider to choose different deadband options between low, medium, and high. It's very, very strange that you still have to go into your phone application and set it up there. It does affect how quickly it reacts if you start panning or orbiting. So I'd like to see that actually improved in the future. One of the funny things that I noticed is there's no menu indicators as to which way the menus go on the actual screen of the gimbal. You can go up, and then you go to the side on the left, but you can go all the way to the last menu on the bottom, and then you swipe to the right and you find another secret menu. It's just a bit of a mess, and there's no little dots or sliders on the side to indicate whether you've got any more menus to go through, up, down, left, or right. So it's a bit of a mess. The other thing is when the gimbal is working and it's idle after a while, it will cover the screen down with whatever mode you're on, and you have to swipe up to actually see. So if you're monitoring like how well your gimbal is balanced, if it's getting tired, if you need to adjust anything, you first need to actually swipe up and unlock the screen. Why not just have a simple slide and whatever screen you were behind anyway? It's, again, minor nuisance, not a big deal, but it's just one extra step. And then my two concerns basically for this gimbal, apart from the battery life and the charging, I would say that the smallest adjustments that happen back and forth or left or right on your actual balanced gimbal will send the RS4 Mini into some sort of a shaking competition, and it will not stop for like 30 seconds until it just gives away. And it did it to me multiple times, and all I did is like open the screen to the side so I can see better when I'm filming, and it immediately just started getting unbalanced. And that's one thing. The second thing is the parameters for each axis and how quickly it orbits and the deadband are super sensitive, and you do need to play for multiple days. It's not just a pick up and go with these mini gimbals, because the motor is easily overwhelmed by the weight of your camera setup. I found myself sort of frustrated when I'm doing orbits, and there's also a orbit follow mode now that you enable and gets a little bit better, but actually it's not really helping that much. You start orbiting and nothing's happening, and then suddenly the gimbal just decides to jerk a little bit and follow you, and then it stops again, it jerks again. And it just ruins those moments. Sometimes I was filming Olympians getting out of the swimming pool. They get out, there's one reaction, you can't do multiple takes. You're not allowed to do stuff like this. So it's just weird to see that sort of jerking. You either set it to super sensitive and then the camera's all over the place, or you set it to medium and then it's just hesitant. So I think it has to do with the motors, because I don't experience this on the bigger gimbals. It's just smooth all around. So yeah, I'd like to, probably the next iteration, if they could improve without changing the size, if they could improve the payload capacity by not much, you know, half a kilo, that would be great. Just give it a little bit stronger motors and just a little bit more self-confidence in the stabilization algorithm, we should be good. But overall, I do have to say, despite the fact that it's a very different price category now, because they did actually make it a little bit more expensive, it's still a great gimbal. And because the RS4 and the RS4 Pro also increased in price, you're still relatively well off if you choose this. And if you need something that size, I don't think there's a better gimbal out there. You can go with some of the other competition like Zhiyun and whatever else, but their software, their support, their customer service is not going to be anywhere near as good. And I also don't trust their batteries as much as I do with DJI. So I'm considering getting one. I don't know if I will get one, but the fact that it has auto lock, which is super helpful, the fact that I don't need to constantly look around whether something's shifted or if my camera's going to get knocked over or whatever, I can just quickly lock it, put it down somewhere, is really, really good. I will have to probably borrow it one more time if I can from maybe somebody else who has one, and just use it in another shoot with my custom settings, which I will now perfect, hopefully. Otherwise, really, really good. One wish, if I can suggest this, and hopefully if DJI ever gets to watch this video, can you give us a bag? Like for 500 euros slash dollars, I think is also pretty much the same amount. Can you just give us a bag? Like it's not a big request, but why do I have to constantly disassemble it and worry about the arms moving, and then I have to recalibrate everything and do micro adjustments on an engine that's on a motor that's super sensitive anyway. So like, just give us a bag that we can actually put the gimbal in without making too much adjustment, and just give us a worry-free experience. Apart from this, it's great. Thank you if you watched this video. Consider subscribing. I do camera reviews. I'm hopefully going to get some electric cars in the future as well to test. So I'm working on a lot of projects at the moment. So if you are into those stuff, drones, cameras, cars, definitely consider subscribing. And thanks for watching. See you in the next one.